Self-improvement presents. How to deal with toxic parents. Parents are supposed to be a source of love, support, and guidance. However, not all parents are created equal. Some can be toxic and damaging. Dealing with toxic parents can be an exhausting and emotionally draining experience that leaves you feeling helpless and alone. If you're struggling to navigate this difficult situation, it's essential to know that you're not alone. In this blog post, we'll provide you with practical tips on how to deal with toxic parents so that you can live your life free from their negative influence. So buckle up, because we've got all the tools you need to take back control. The different types of toxic parents. There are different types of toxic parents, and each type requires a different approach when it comes to dealing with them. Here are the 4 most common types of toxic parents. 1. The narcissistic parent. Narcissistic parents are self-centered and lack empathy for their children. They often use their children as a means to an end and can be emotionally abusive. If you have a narcissistic parent, it's important to set boundaries and keep your own needs in mind. 2. The controlling parent. Controlling parents want to micromanage every aspect of their child's life. They may try to control what they wear, who they spend time with, and what they do. This type of toxicity can lead to anxiety and low self-esteem in children. If you have a controlling parent, it's important to assert your independence and stand up for yourself. 3. The enabling parent. Enabling parents enables their children's bad behavior by excusing it or helping them cover it up. This can cause problems later on in life when the child is expected to take responsibility for their actions. If you have an enabling parent, it's important to learn how to take responsibility for yourself and your choices. 4. The neglectful parent. Neglectful parents may not be physically abusive, but they neglect their children emotionally. They may not provide support or love, and may ignore their child's feelings and the effects of having a toxic parent. It's no secret that having a toxic parent can have a negative effect on your life. But what exactly are the effects of having a toxic parent? Here are some of the most common effects. 1. You may have low self-esteem. A toxic parent is often critical, judgmental, and quick to find fault. As a result, you may doubt yourself and your abilities. You may feel that you're not good enough or that you can never please your parent. This can lead to low self-esteem and feelings of worthlessness. 2. You may have difficulty forming healthy relationships. Toxic parents often model unhealthy relationship behaviors. They may be emotionally or physically abusive, manipulative, or controlling. As a result, you may have trouble trusting people and forming close, healthy relationships. You may also end up attracted to partners who display similar behaviors to your toxic parent. 3. You may struggle with anxiety or depression. The stress of living with a toxic parent can take a toll on your mental health. You may struggle with anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues as a result of your parent's toxicity. This is especially true if you don't have any other supportive relationships in your life. 4. You may abuse substances to cope with the pain. Many people turn to drugs or alcohol to numb the pain of having a toxic parent. Unfortunately, this only leads to more problems down the road. How to deal with a toxic parent. It's no secret that some parents can be toxic. If you're dealing with a toxic parent, there are some things you can do to make the situation more bearable. First, try to have realistic expectations. Toxic parents often don't change, so don't expect them to. It's also important to remember that you can't change or fix them, only they can do that. Second, set boundaries. This may mean setting physical boundaries, like not allowing them to come into your home, or emotional boundaries, like not letting them put you down. It's important to stick to these boundaries even if it's difficult. Third, take care of yourself. This includes both physical and mental self-care. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, exercise, and healthy food. Avoid alcohol and drugs, as they can make the situation worse. And finally, make sure you have a support system in place, whether it's friends, family, or a therapist. When to cut off contact with a toxic parent. It can be difficult to know when to cut off contact with a toxic parent. There are many factors to consider, such as your own well-being, the well-being of your children, and the impact on your relationship with other family members. If you're considering cutting off contact with a toxic parent, it's important to seek professional help to assess the situation and weigh up all the options. In some cases, it may be best to maintain contact but set boundaries in order to protect yourself and your children. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to cut off contact with a toxic parent is a personal one. However, if you do decide to cut off contact, it's important to be prepared for the possible consequences, such as estrangement from other family members. Toxic parents can be hard to deal with, and it's important for you to remember that you cannot control their behavior but only your own. Taking a step back from the situation and setting healthy boundaries is key in protecting yourself from emotional distress. It may be helpful to connect with supportive people who will listen and provide understanding, as well as seek professional help if needed. Working through these issues takes time, effort, and self-care, but it is worth it in the end.